Sup guys, this is the top 10 sternritters in Bleach. This isn't listed by the order of strength or power, we already know the top 5.
We them boys! Yo! Okay, alright. Yo.
This isn't a competition to see who's the strongest, rather the most popular. Special thanks to the Bleach subreddit for voting. The sternritters may not be as fleshed out as its follower, though the diverse organization have proven to be credible in their efficiency and determination. I want to clarify a misunderstanding. Yuha isn't a sternritter, he's the Majesty, the king of Quincy's, the founder of this organization, whose sole purpose is to serve for their emperor. And Ishida will be excluded since he didn't really change as a character or do anything when he was a part of the sternritters. Before we begin, let's take a moment to touch upon the honorable mentions. There were 6 sternritters with 2 votes. Sternritter Q, Bernice Gabrielle. Sternritter I, Can-Do. Sternritter K, BG9. Sternritter N, Robert Alcutron. Sternritter N, Gerald Valkyrie. And Sternritter C, Perninda Porkenjaws. Sternritter S, Master Masculine with 3 votes. And the lead runner-up to the top 10, Sternritter P, Meninas McAdden with 4 votes. Number 10, Sternritter J, Kurge Opie with 5 votes. Appointed as the executive hunting captain in Waco Mundo to recruit any Arankar that were foolish or tenacious to challenge the Quincy as pawns for his majesty. Unquestionably ruthless to the cowardly weak and the beings that threatens his very core existence. He's the warden that oversees Waco Mundo, detaining captives to fight for their lives and eradicating all hollows that doesn't comply or are too weak to collect. He's also critical of the actions of his subordinates. To be specific, he thought that they should kill themselves for reacting too slowly to the enemy's assault on their commander, and actually killed a weave scrub trash for attempting to flee from the perilous environment. This role of establishing discipline and administering punishments is ideal for a strongly authoritative nature, savagery, and script. The jail, which enables him to imprison targets with impenetrable spherical reishi confinements that never ceases and enshrouds the presence of the prisoners from the outside. However, it can't contain Quincy's. In addition, forcibly sealed gateways preventing dimensional traveling or escaping from the jail. Due to the script primarily geared towards detainment and entrapment, he sharpened his latent Quincy abilities to compensate for a lack of an offensive script. Primarily deploys every Quincy technique at his disposal in his fight, unlike his peers who heavily relied on their script in combat. He is the justice of God, who has complete reishi dominance, enslaving and tearing away spiritual particles from surrounding objects, even converting holified reishi matter into a harmless energy source to assimilate with, resulting in his holy wings becoming tarnished by those who are wicked. Kurge was a great introduction to the sternritters. He managed to stall the lead warp potential from saving Soul Society with the cost of his own life, displaying absolute loyalty to his majesty. His words and actions tell to how threatening the sternritters are. Number 9, Sternritter G, Lilito Lampard with 7 votes. The aloof yet level-headed Lottie tactician that's obsessed with food. The 2 most important values to her is food and her gal pals. In spite of their disagreements and her being indifferent around them, she secretly cherishes their friendship, acting as a pseudo leader of the sternritters, being the most optimal gal to lead them ahead, considering she's the most calm, cool, and collected of the group, a smart fighter that doesn't rush ahead without a plan. Not to mention, one of the more stronger members of the group, and probably the piece that anchors and fastens the team together. Ironically, her introduction was a complete 180 to her character, displaying a more playful, happy little gal with a dirty mouth than the serious and callous little girl we know today. She was most likely caustically mocking Bambi for being a little slut. Nevertheless, her love of food hasn't changed, always in a constant state of hunger with a yearning desire to eat. fitting for her script, the glutton, enlarging her jaws to abnormal proportions with the addition of sharp jagged teeth to consume her targets, absorbing their powers along with the ingrained knowledge on how to use the powers of the consumed subjects. The taste of a target tells her what kind of person he or she is. She most definitely deserves a spot in the top 10, being one of the last Quincy standing in the battlefield and killing this disgusting Cupid shit piece poop. Cry, bitch. Cry. Because you're going to have to take responsibility for your actions. The lolly we need, but don't deserve. She's Mary Poppins, y'all. Number 9. Sternritter T, Candace Catnip with 7 votes. The most electrifying Fernritter with a jolting sex appeal, stimulating everyone, including me, with her well-endowed, robust figure, sporting a revealing outfit which prominently displays her midriff, cleavage, and stunning legs, thanks to her short shorts. She's dedicated in upholding the sexy, galvanizing image, waking up several hours before everyone else to adjust her hair to her liking. She takes great pride in the way she looks, so if her sexy appearance is ruined, she will unleash her rage upon the individuals who cause this immoral action. No matter the cause, no matter the danger, she's going to fuck them up with her script, the Thunderbolt, which melts well with her hot-tempered, headstrong, and feisty personality, generating, manipulating, transforming, and projecting lightning, detaching her wings to use as swords, and the big fuck you electrocution blast. Number 8. Sternritter V, Grammy Thalmox with 8 votes. An airy child with messy blonde hair donning a trench coat. Technically, he's really a disembodied brain encased in a protective casing. This body is only a product of his script, the visionary, to turn fantasy into reality, freely creating and manipulating elements, defensive objects, offensive tools, instantly heal one's injuries, change one's physical body through physical contact, kill unconscious individuals in a near-death state with a single thought, and his greatest power, life creation, making copies of himself to increase his power of imagination, creating much more powerful fantasies into the real world. He's an arrogant bastard, believing to be the strongest among the Sternritters, and rightfully so. With his scary powers to do the impossible just by daydreaming, no one has ever dared confront him, let alone challenge him. Though there are some limitations and drawbacks to this devastating script, so he's certainly not invincible. Nonetheless, imagination is fucking broken. Yet it was bestowed upon a kid that has a shit imagination, who sometimes has his moments, like constituting complex sentient beings with their own unique personality, appearance, and script. It inspired me to look up a handful of other possible V scripts: Vampire, Value, Velocity, Victory, Volley, the power of imagination. Number 7. Sternritter F, Asnaut with 9 votes. This man has an unhealthy obsession with fear. He has a wicked penchant of delivering speeches on the nature of fear in an unsettling manner. His script, the fear, manifests in the form of thorns, inducing limitless fear. Even individuals who have the experience and willpower to resist fear will eventually succumb to their darkest fears. He gets turned on by fear while simultaneously commit to this egregious horror act out of fear of dying and entering hell, as well as being scolded by his majesty and have his very existence taken from him, leading to death. He is the fear of God. A single glance will be enough to instill unending fear, penetrating through their optic nerve to oppress the victims with the fear that's deeply buried in their memories and mind. He creates a dome covered with innumerable eyes to ensure eminent endless fear. And this isn't even his spinal fluid. What the fuck? Let's talk about something else. He does care about other things. He felt lonely without Senpai Sakura. Maybe some other subject. He nearly killed a beloved fan favorite character, but the backlash and outcry of the devoted fans has what is fear? Number 6. Sternritter X Lele Barrow with 11 votes. The stoic, calculating black guy with a controversial transformation. I mean, the leader of Yuha's elite guards and the first Quincy to ever be bestowed a script by His Majesty, which made him consider himself Yuha's best creation and the man closest to God. The cold yet passionate marksman wields a rifle that fires bullets composed of highly compressed reishi, capable of destroying cities with a single shot. With the power of his script, the X-axis, he simply pierces everything and renders his physical body intangible for a short period of time, though he only permits himself to enter this form 3 times in the battle because it's too OP. He is the judgment of God, transforming into a celestial divine being, appearing visually abstract to the eyes of mortals, firing all-piercing shots from the holes in his wings, as well as permanently remain in a state of spatial intangibility. And lastly, as a messenger of God, teleport to deliver divine retribution against the sinners. And it's not even his final form. An owl, dragon, centaur that can play the trumpet. Number 5. Sternritter Z Giselle Guel with 20 votes. My favorite Sternritter, a carefree, cute, and all-around fun gal who will make goofy expressions and remain cheerful in the heaviest of situations. In battle, she will use reverse psychology to trick her opponents into attacking her. You just activated my trap card. However, in spite of all of her awesome qualities, she's a clinically insane, cruel, and hardcore sadist that merely smile at the sound of being called a bitch. No wonder she's the most popular Sternritter in Japan. Oh my. Am I Japan? As long as she's kawaii, I'm fine with the crazy. She denies being a sadist, but she is absolutely a sadist. Giselle's dream is to unleash a zombie apocalypse upon the bleach world, and that includes turning her besties into her zombies. She loves Bambi to death. Literally to death. She likes to pick on Candy, calling her a little slut, and constantly mocks her power and temperament. Oh, she's number 9? How lame. Though she's not all mean. She did give her a hand. When Lil was a little grumpy, Gigi kindly offered her to turn her into one of her zombies. Aw, how sweet. Minnie? Not much interaction between them, but Zombie Minnie sounds like a good kitty. And I really mean zombies in Bleach, with the power of the zombie. This enables her to zombify and control anyone with a splash of her blood. This does not work on fellow Quincy's unless they have already died. In addition, she can heal herself or others by manipulating flesh, reforming to restore one's body. Oh yeah, her zombies get really thirsty for Gigi's blood. Best girl? Oh, she's a what? She was confirmed to be biologically male. Traps are not gay. Number 4. Sternritter H Basby with 23 votes. The third iteration of the brash, bold, and dynamic archetype with a short fuse. Renji, Grimjow, the harsh, flaming hunter with a fucking majestic blazing mohawk. Like the first iteration's eyebrows, they could have been great friends, and was supposed to have a predestined battle with the second, but it never happened. Would have been epic. Pantera versus the Heat. The ability to produce and control flames powerful enough to offset those generated by the Captain Commander. He infuses the flames into his fingers to launch a variety of techniques. Burner Finger 1, he shoots a thin beam of fire. Burner Finger 2, he creates a huge fiery explosion. Burner Finger 3, he spews glowing lava. Burner Finger 4. He creates a large saber of flames, causing a massive explosion. Burning Four Fingers. He spells a vortex of fire. He's fucking awesome. But there's an issue with his character. He mercilessly shot 4 of his fellow sternritters to steal their opponent. Yet he was livid when his majesty betrayed him. The same majesty that burned down his home to the ground, the one he devoted his life to kill in the past, now firmly serving him. Not only is he a hypocrite, there's some heavy gaps that needs to be filled, but the real question is, who would win in a battle royale between Basby, Renji, and Grimjow? Number 3. Sternritter E, Bambietta Bastardbind with 26 volts. The explosive, sadistic, unstable, hot-crazed, self-proclaimed leader of the Fernritters, who will literally carpet bomb an area in a destructive manner if she gets embarrassed or frustrated. To unwind, she invites male subordinates to her room for fun time. I volunteer, which typically ends in a mess. Oh. Her gal pals doesn't quite approve of her actions, nor care to group up together in the war. There was surprisingly a mixed reaction upon Bambi's death. Minnie was taken back by Bambi's seared condition, striking a shocked pose. Candy felt somewhat somber, expressing gloom. Lil was apathetic to the whole ordeal, not even looking at Bambi. And Gigi was fucking ecstatic. Can't wait to fuck zombie Bambi. She really didn't deserve that treatment. In spite of her volatile and bitchy nature, she was still a little girl in the inside. Calling a captain doggy, being deeply afraid of death, couldn't comprehend on the thought of forfeiting one's life or placing it at risk. Luckily, with her script, the explode. She has an ability that can't be guarded against. Anything she fires her spiritual particles into turns into a bomb. Number 2. Sternritter B, Jugram Hashbolt with 31 volts. The third iteration of the loyal, cautious, and reserved archetype by Yakuga Ukuora, the Grand Master of the Sternritter, and the other half of His Majesty. He's the rare Quincy who cannot absorb reishi from his surroundings. Instead, he can only draw out the true potential of other Quincy's within his presence. Due to this tight bound, he becomes the substitute monarch when Yuha sleeps. He's usually a cold man who firmly believes in balance and that the Quincy's exist to live and die for Yuha's continued existence. As a child, he was much more timid and gentle, lacking confidence in his own abilities, heavily dependent on others, but in doing so, he formed a strong bond with Basby. Sadly, aligned with Yuha, severed the ties with his former companion. He felt important for once in his life, though he always held onto Basby's emblem in a token of their friendship. He felt regret at the thought of killing his friend. Oh yeah, he had an uncle. Oh yeah, he died in a fire. Let's stay that way. His script, the balance. Taking the misfortune that occurs within his sphere of influence and disperse it to those who have experienced good fortune. He maintains balance in the world. All the misfortune that would transpire onto him is redirected into his friend shield and reapplied elsewhere. Destroy. Number 1. Sternritter D, Askin Nakrivar with 48 volts. He is a man of character and elegance. Long drawn out fights aren't his cup of tea. He'd rather watch a fight from afar and have a nice cup of coffee. But if he has to fight, then it'd be quick and clean. Pretty anticlimactic of a fight. Sorry if you expect something more extraordinary. This fierceness and brutality just isn't his style. He's an incredibly laid back, easygoing, and eccentric breath of fresh air that highly contrasts the mundane seriousness and the atmosphere. Retreating from his first potential battle, believing that his opponent will take too long to kill, having a picnic in the middle of a battlefield, freaking out over Yuha's black goo appearance, being kind of jaded that he has to deal with the main character's group, getting the fuck away from Grimjow, making a proposal to kill the main character with Grimjow, still getting the fuck away from Grimjow, break time in the middle of a chase, Still getting the fuck away from Grimjow? Oh, sorry. Do you guys expect him to fight and do something cool? Dispatching the main character off screen, not being able to decipher this kid's gender, and underestimating his strength? What the fucking over Keisuke's random shit? Missing his sleep dart? Ah, I know the feeling. And most importantly, his actual reason on why he follows Yuha. Curious to see the birth of the new world after the destruction of the current worlds. Askin is a unique individual. He walks on a fine line between mortality and immortality with his script, the death dealing. He has the ability to calculate the perfect lethal dose of any substance and manipulate that quantity freely. Here's a gift. Gift Ball, a small slow moving ball of poison. Gift Bad, a pool that poisons all targets that steps onto the point. He's the god's poison taster. It's a pretty morbid name, don't you think? He automatically adapts to all Ryatsu. Here are some more gifts. Gift Ball Deluxe, an enormous version of Gift Ball that centers around Askin's body, which magnifies greatly upon his death. Gift Berech, that's a tough sounding name. A large spherical barrier which is absolutely impossible to escape from. Gift Ring, a ring of concentrated poison that's thrown into a single focal point. There's certainly no surprise about this man. He is truly lethal.